Hi and welcome back to Sumac Watches. In this slightly longer video I'll be showing you how to open up a CWC or Hamilton W10 so you can access the movement for inspection and maintenance. First things first, W10 is the Ministry of Defence service code for Army, so any item procured for the MOD and marked W10 was purchased under an Army contract. Many watches have been purchased under such contracts and marked W10, such as the earlier Smith's W10 and later G10 watches. However, this particular breed, supplied to the MOD from 1971 to 1980, has become synonymous with the W10 service code, and this type is generally referred to as a W10. They were produced initially by Hamilton and then from 1976 by CWC. The W10 watch I'll be using for this demonstration is a somewhat rare 1979 RAF issue CWC W10 marked 6BB, designation for aircrew equipment. Before we start taking things apart, I'll explain a few features of the watch. First thing to say is it's a front loader. The dial, hands and movement are extracted through the front of the watch, not the back. If I turn it round, there's no removable back cover. The case is one solid piece of sculpted stainless steel. This reduces the opportunity for water ingress and it makes the watch more rugged, but it doesn't stop people from trying to remove the back, and damage to the case back from such attempts are quite commonly seen. Second thing to note is that in order to extract the movement, you first have to remove the crystal but also the crown. In a standard watch with a removable back, you can access the stem release mechanism, slide the stem out and then just tip the movement out of the back. But with a monocoque watch case that's not possible. So to allow the stem to be removed and the movement to then be extracted, the stem is split into two halves. An inner stem which locks into the movement and an outer stem with the crown attached, which passes through the stem tube and clips in to the inner stem. I can show you how that works with this movement. It's an ETA 2750, same type fitted to the Hamilton and CWC W10s. You can see here the inner stem already fitted into the movement. Here's the outer stem and crown. The two parts clip together like this. You can then pull the crown out to adjust the time, and the clip joint between the two halves is strong enough that they stay attached. Okay, that's the background information covered. Let's start taking things apart. The first job is to remove the crown and outer stem. Pull the crown out to the time setting position. I then put a piece of thick transparent polythene around the case to protect the case and the crown. We're now going to use a pair of side cut pliers to pull the crown out quite firmly, and the outer stem parts from the inner stem, and here it is. The next job is to remove the crystal. The crystal is of the armoured tension ring type, an acrylic crystal with a metal ring inside which keeps it tightly fitted into the case. One method is to use a claw type crystal lifter like this. Just fit carefully over the crystal, and then as you tighten up it squeezes the crystal so it can be removed. Tighten it incrementally and keep checking to see if the crystal's free so that you don't over tighten it. A note of caution here, crystal lifters are not really designed for using with tension ring crystals of this sort, and there's a risk that the edge of the crystal could be damaged. The better method is to blow air into the case through the stem tube. The air pressure will then push the crystal out. I can demonstrate this with a can of compressed air like this one. I just put the nozzle here against the stem tube and pop, the crystal is out. Just to note, you will need a crystal press to properly refit that crystal. Now that we have the crown and the crystal out of the way, we can access the movement. Another note of caution here, the hands are now exposed and very vulnerable to damage, so be super careful. If you have the tools and the confidence, it's a good idea to remove the hands now. If not, attempting to do so will equally risk damage to both dial and hands, so do take care. The easier way to remove the movement is to cover it with some thin polythene and carefully tip the movement out. And here we have the CWC ETA 2750 movement, complete with dial and hands, safely extracted from the case. As you can see, it's in nice condition, complete with the distinctive finish and CWC signature on the main bridge. The Hamilton version is basically the same ETA 2750 movement, has a different finish, and it's signed Hamilton along with Hamilton's own caliber reference 649. That's it for this video. Many thanks for watching, and follow us on Instagram at Sumac Watches for more mostly military watches.